Have you ever noticed how often life is referred to as a journey? Cliches are cliches for a reason, and I suppose this one's no different. Life is a journey, and so is a man's career path. Jasper Charles is the producer for the Wild and Kingdom podcast. During turkey season, he approached me with an idea. I didn't know how I felt about it, but this is Jasper's argument for it. Now, 20 years ago, I'd have probably been down for it. But this time, it felt a little awkward. Every episode of Wild and Kingdom has a podcast attached to it. They go hand in hand. Jasper kind of unpacked his motive for why he wanted to do it this way.
Jason and I were on a turkey hunt in the spring, and I was thinking to myself before I brought it up to you that you've had a really unique life and you've done something really cool. Abnormal job, I will say, at least a rare niche job. Yeah. And specifically a job that I've always been interested in my own life. Like, you know, apart from writing songs, I've always carried two dreams. One was being a songwriter and one was building a brand in any capacity, and specifically a brand that existed within the outdoors. And you've done that, and you've done it in a lot of different variations, and it's really been outdoors telling the truth about Jesus Christ with media. But the form of media that you've done it in has changed. That's why I wanted to tell your story, because it's a unique one. It's got longevity to it. And when I thought about it, I said to you, dude, you've spent all these years telling everybody else's story. Have you ever told your own? And you were like, no. I said, well, we should do that.
I'm not famous. I've never been famous. I don't see the point in trying to be famous. I think there's just one famous person in the world. I'm serious. And that's Jesus. He's the only one that came out of the grave. All of us, the rest of us, we're just people. And I think the approach that a man should take in life is the same of John the Baptist. He must increase and I must decrease, was what he said when he was talking about Jesus. For the sake of the kingdom of God, however, I do believe a man should forever be in pursuit of relevance. And that's the story I wanted to tell when Jasper came to me with it. My mind is always searching for current ways a man, regardless of age, can stay relevant in his work that causes the kingdom of God to come on earth as it is in heaven. I've spent a career publishing media for men. Some of it's worked, some of it's failed miserably. But it's a calling, and one that I've shaped for several decades now. At Wild and Kingdom, guns and animals are always kind of the baseline for our stories. A few months ago, a stranger called me from Oklahoma. God had used a Bible study series that I had produced years ago called Close Encounters. I produced it with Zondervan, and that study had moved some of his men in his church to getting involved in kingdom work. And it was really neat to hear. The stranger has since become a brother to me, and back in September, he called me and he said, hey, I've got a few bucks on trail cam and you need to send one of them to Glory. Well, here's the thing. I've got this long history with Oklahoma. It's not that Oklahoma is better than Texas or Iowa or Michigan or wherever. It's not that it's any better. It's just that for whatever reason, I keep having this ever-evolving relationship with Oklahoma when it comes to whitetails. So Jasper and I set out for Oklahoma. And along the way, on that drive, Jasper said to me, what are you expecting out there? And I just said, well, I think we take what the hunt gives us. That's the only thing I know to do. And there's this culture of hunting that exists, and within the culture of hunting, there exist subcultures. Parts of South Georgia and North Carolina and Arkansas use dogs for deer. It's a real tradition. It's a part of their culture. Places like Wisconsin and Iowa and other Midwestern states, they often use large groups of people to drive deer. In the Southwest, it's a culture of feeders, because there's just very little food in that scrubby country. Feeders are becoming more and more the norm for all of whitetail hunting, regardless of geography. But in Texas and Oklahoma, if you deer hunt, there's almost always a feeder involved somewhere in the context of their culture when it comes to how they hunt. The first day we were in a location that there'd been this really nice mainframe 8-pointer showing up. Now we got in there and these deer were like 29 yards from us, and we could barely breathe. But they just kept coming from every direction. And the same for that evening. We changed about, 400 yards away and to a different location, and deer kept coming in, but nothing really to give a ride in the truck, The following morning, we made a decision to hunt this different area. The wind was out of the north, and the deer that were coming into these blackjack oaks were bedded to the north. So we knew that they'd walk a lane to get to us if we could just keep the wind in our face. Now, I grew up deer hunting from the ground. It's my favorite way to deer hunt to this day. And people think you can't do it, that you're going to get seen, and it's just not true. I'm telling you, if you keep the wind in your face and you brush yourself up and you hide, you can get away with a lot, and you'll be eyeball to eyeball with them. It just ups the challenge of the hunt exponentially. Jasper could see better than I could, and he saw a large-bodied deer about 8:30 in the morning cross the northernmost part of that roadbed. Well, I hit the antlers and I began grunting. And within about 60 seconds, here came a small buck. And behind him was another one. He's decent. I'm going to shoot him, though. The great thing about hunting from the ground is also the hard thing about hunting from the ground. And that is you are close to the deer and you're on their level. And this smaller buck was now about 10, 11 steps from us, and he was starting to be wise to the fact that something just didn't feel right. I'm always impressed at how a buck, even a young one like this one, they just have this sense that something's not normal. And man, it keeps them alive more often than not. Are you on him? I hit him. Yeah. I think I hit him. It was tight and weird. I'm going to stay right here. Let me go check for blood. Let me go see. This hunt was about telling a story, my story. And if I could say anything about my journey, it is that it has been every bit of that. As cliche as it may sound, it's been a journey. This was by no means the biggest buck I've ever taken. But in the context of that journey, we took what the hunt gave us. It unfolds and you just trust God with the outcome. I've always worked best in the context of creative ministry approaches. And of all those approaches, they all target men who are most likely never going to think or even care about going to church on a Sunday. My journey has been one that has evolved into places I could never have dreamed of on the outset. Some wildly rewarding and some brutally challenging. Soul-bending at times, but all of them are equally invigorating. And the common baseline is that the journey has been about eternal work, missionary work, to the culture of hunters. Hunters, like these special brothers of mine in Oklahoma, they share a culture, and it's one that I understand. It's one that's no different from the tribes of the Congo or Amazon or any other country. It's real cultures with real people and real lives and real jobs. My journey is one that simply takes the truths of the kingdom of God and walks them into places often overlooked. That's my calling. I don't think I'm special. I also don't think I'm lucky. If I'm anything, I'm relentless at trying to stay relevant in how I go about living out my calling to grow the kingdom of God. I'm convicted that regardless of where a man works or how a man works, every man owes it to the Lord as a steward of our very lives to be relentless in how we move the kingdom forward so that we can actually lay hold of Jesus' prayer that God's kingdom would come on earth as it is in heaven.